Hold on, Bob. Don't go anywhere, okay? Stay with us. Charmie, how are you doing?
Michael, how are you?
Very well. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for calling in.
Hey, Char.
All your buddies are here. We got Chad and Jamie and Red Dog Mike McShane, Peanut Butter, Rick.
Uh-oh.
Hi, Charmie.
Hi, everybody. The whole gang's there, huh?
Everybody but you.
I'm there. Don't you see me?
Aha. Depends which side of the DVD you're looking at.
So, we entitled the show tonight the Making the Case. I'm a lawyer. I'm trying to, usually, for those that aren't following with me here. But, making the case, we got our various exhibits of, that we're presenting. And, we've got thousands of stories, of course. And you've been tremendous in reporting on many of them and exposing just some of the outrageousness that goes on in the war on drugs, and especially here in Michigan. Tell us what's going on. What's going on in your mind these days?
Well, I've been listening. First of all, thanks for having me on, Michael. I really appreciate it. I have been listening to your conversation, and I think I can answer some of your questions. Can you hear me, first of all? It's hard for me to tell.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks, Chad. Here's the way I see what these people are doing to Bob Redden and Barb Agro and the thousands of registered medical marijuana patients and caregivers across the state. When the Michigan voters overwhelmingly passed the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act in 2008, the prohibitionists, the people who want to maintain the prohibition of marijuana, Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard, our now Attorney General Bill Schuette, all kinds of folks, Grand Rapids City Attorney Catherine Mish, Jamie Lowell really, really enjoys listening to that woman. All of these prohibitionists, they knew that they would need a supermajority, that's 3/4 of the vote of both the House and Senate, in order to amend this law, this voter-initiated law. So they got to work right away arresting people, and I watched it. You're an attorney, Michael. You're a criminal defense attorney. You watched it. They were arresting people who were following the law. Oftentimes I would see the judge go, well, this is the law now, and dismiss it, and then it was appealed. This is a strategy. This is a national strategy to continue the prohibition of marijuana in this country. And it's been incredibly effective. It's been effective in that we saw last week, on Thursday, the first medical marijuana case hit the Michigan Supreme Court. They've been working it up through the stacked courts to get to the conservatively stacked Michigan Supreme Court. And miraculously, I really think the stars are aligning with regard to our repeal marijuana prohibition effort. The same day that this Michigan Supreme Court heard its first medical marijuana case, our petitions for a constitutional amendment to repeal marijuana prohibition for adults 21 and older in Michigan got printed and started getting circulated to people and started hitting the streets with it. And it's a 3-year cycle. They knew that it was going to take that supermajority to amend the law that they hated, that they could not accept. And so they started arresting people. They started destroying lives in order to be able to continue this failed war. And I'll tell you what, I've had about enough of it. I've taken enough phone calls from common, good people whose lives are being destroyed. Michael, you and I commiserate about this whenever we're together. I've taken enough phone calls. I've seen the destruction that it does. And, we at this point, we really feel like this is our last vehicle for justice. There's a lot of great work going on now. We have local LLEP, those lowest law enforcement initiatives going in place. We have people lobbying legislators, working very hard. We have people that are talking to their representatives. Jamie's involved in the beautiful Vote Green initiative where they're helping to educate people, giving them the tools that they need to interact with their legislators. And then we have our statewide campaign. I am so proud of us, Michael, Chad, Michael, and Jamie and Rick. I am so proud of our community. People who you would never have seen in the same room together, standing next to each other, working hard day and night. I haven't slept. I didn't sleep last night. I'm going to be up all night again tonight in order to prepare for this press conference tomorrow. And people are just working their butts off.
Hey, what time's the conference tomorrow?
It's 2 p.m. But It's 2 p.m. and it's in Detroit, and it's at the old Park Davis Research facility where they used to manufacture cannabis tincture. So,
cool.
Charmie.
So what do you think about my theory, Michael? This is a strategy. That's why they did this. That's why they arrested Bob Redden. They did these sweeps, particularly in Oakland County, where they declared war on the Medical Marijuana Act, even long before it was voted into law. But they did these sweeps, these big sweeps, and then they cherry-picked their cases. Oh, what's an enclosed lock facility? Oh, what's an affirmative defense? All of these sections, all these protections provided in the Act. They cherry-picked how they wanted to disassemble the protections provided for people, and just kept appealing them and kept appealing them.
I mean, as a lawyer, week after week, we talk about the intricacies of it. I'm so sick of it because I want to talk about the people. I'm sick and tired of talking about the interpretations of these technical, nonsensical nonsense that make no sense with what this law was intended to be. And then the complaints start the conversation at a place that misses the boat of everything. Let's fix the law. And by the way, we should not give up on it. And we should still fight. The legislature is coming up. They're going to try to pass some bills that are going to try to amend the act, which is insane. Their suggestions are going to do no good for anybody except torture the community that much more. And we can't give up on that. And people need to continue to harass and continue to send letters and continue to go with their legislatures and meet with them and tell them that this law should not be changed and that the solution already exists. But my point is that the conversation about medical marijuana that's driven by the leading law enforcement agency is that being the Attorney General, is at a point that is missed, which is that the cards still are not out on time, that the registry program is still not open to any other new conditions, that there's leaks of information of patients' privacy all the time, and the thing that pushes me over the edge is that there's not been, nor will there be, any attempts to train or educate the perception of law enforcement towards medical marijuana. And it's not going to happen. 3 years into it, there should have been a couple of steps of evolution. There should have been some meeting of the minds. There should have been some understanding that we're seeing the opposite. And because of that, there is no other choice. We can't wait for, we can't wait. It's just going to get worse and worse. My conversations in back rooms at pre-trials with law enforcement, we're busier than ever. They can't do this, they can't do that. We're talking about my 65-year-old clients who have been married for 30 years and are, in court because their basement door wasn't locked. There's something really silly like that. That's why there is no other choice.
I agree. And no, we don't want to give up on the law. I mean, people worked hard to pass this law. People are fully expecting, and rightly so, that this law be implemented the way the voters passed it and that people be respected. What we're doing with the Committee for a Safer Michigan and with the repeal of marijuana prohibition is we are, we're working very hard to try to undo some of the damage that's been done. And I'll tell you right out that this ballot question, it's a direct response to the interference by state officials to implement our law. And it's a direct response to increasing legal actions against state-sanctioned marijuana patients and caregivers. It is the number one reason why we spent months locked in a room together in Matt Abel's basement, hashing out, what do we do? Is it decriminalization? Is it going to be 18 or 21? And fighting and going back and forth. And I think that what we've come up with, I personally believe that we've created something that's responsible. It will provide for responsible adult usage. It'll help, discontinue increased police aggression towards state-sanctioned patients and caregivers, and allow law enforcement. You know me, I want law enforcers to focus on violent crime. I want them to go get the rapists and the murderers. I want them to go get the people who killed 80-year-old Nancy Daly of Royal Oak in her home before they create crimes like that. Because I'll tell you why that happened. She was killed in October in her house in Royal Oak by two parole absconders who first raked her lawn and then went in to rob and kill her. when those two people, they had warrants out. The Michigan Department of Correction had warrants out on those people, and when they didn't show up for their parole hearing, that judge should have told the policeman in the courtroom, "Go get them," and the policeman should have put his butt in his car and gone out and gotten those people. But they're too busy with the line of people outside the courtroom that they can extract money from, that they are mad at, that have minor drug infractions or haven't paid their fines, to protect society. And I believe that is the number one reason why when we get enough signatures to put this before Michigan voters, that's why Michigan voters will pass this. But they're not stupid, first of all. They understand what's happened. They see how the Attorney General is absolutely obsessed with medical marijuana. And people who just don't give a crap about marijuana have said to me frequently, just legalize it already. And what's wrong with the Attorney General? What did you do to him? They see how fixated he is. So thank you, Bill Schuette. I'd like to thank him publicly for sending more volunteers to us every day. Thank you.
You listen to Planet Green Trees, 1-347-326-9626. We're talking to Charmie Gholson, who is the serving as the communication director for the Committee for a Safer Michigan and the ballot initiative to repeal marijuana prohibition for adults 21 and over. Charmie, so there's a big press conference tomorrow, and this is the official announcement. Is that right? It's going to be the
Yes, there's a press conference tomorrow. I don't know how big it's going to be. It'll be big for us. But,
right. But no, it's the official kickoff.
Yeah, and, it's the official launch, because at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, the Board of Canvassers are going to hold their hearing about our petition. Now, as you know, I'm sure I think Matt was on the show last week.
Right.
As you know, the Board of Canvassers does not approve content for petitions like this, just the formatting, which is one of the reasons why I want to help folks understand you cannot download this petition from the Internet. It has to be printed in a very specific way on specific paper in order to be legitimate.
Yeah, so you can't even make copies of it for yourself. You know, it has to be from the original printer that we're using up in Lansing.
There will be scrutiny. There will be scrutiny. So
absolutely.
This is the important point that Charmie's making, and I want go ahead, say it again so everyone understands what you're trying to say.
The Board of Canvassers, the state agency Board of Canvassers, does not approve our language for this ballot question regarding content. They can't say to us, "You can't do that. You can't try to legalize marijuana." They can't do that. The only power they hold is in the formatting of this petition. They already sent us one request to edit or change the way that the material is formatted on the petition, which we did, and now they're holding a hearing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in Lansing. During that hearing, they will discuss whether or not to approve the formatting for our petition language. We anticipate that they will do this. We have already been out collecting signatures. I haven't personally, but goodness, no, people are just frothing at the mouth to get a hold of these petitions. It really is it's very inspirational to me to see what this does for folks. Like, I'll never forget John Landino, Christine Landino's husband, with his neck brace on at one of our meetings when we were battling back and forth, decriminalization or legalization, what do we do? And he said, "I waited my whole life for this, my whole life." And it means so much to people because of the injustice, because of the war on Michigan families, because when you see it up close, when you see what it really looks like to execute a warrant, when you see what that looks like in practice by drug task forces, when you see the injustice with the prosecutors and the prosecutors and the DAs, my God, they're the problem right now. They're the problem. They listen to the cops about plea bargains. They're just insane, I think.
You are describing what has been the absolute loss of the war on drugs, and how, there was a time when police officers, walked the neighborhoods and had interactions with the community. I heard someone, Oh, Charmie, I guess the typing is, we can hear the typing if you're typing.
I'm trying to write while.
Of course you are.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to.